Welcome back. This is Mr. Hassan's Maths channel, and I'm now answering question number 4 from the International A-Level Edexcel Pure Statistics S1 October 2021 exam. This question here is about probability and probability trees. It tells us that 3 bags A, B, and C each contain colored balls. Bag A contains 4 red and 2 yellow balls. Bag B, 4 red and 1 yellow ball. And bag C contains 6 red balls only. There's a game where Mike takes a ball from bag A, records the color and places it in bag C. He then takes a ball from bag B, records the color and places it in bag C. And then finally he takes a ball from bag C and records the color. So we've got to look at all the different scenarios that could happen and make this, complete this tree. We have to add maybe some branches and all the probabilities. All right, so I mean, we can fill in these values straight away. We know that they have to add up to 1 when they split up. So this is going to be 1/3 and 1/5. But let's first understand the situation. I've made a little diagram to kind of help us understand what's going on. So let's say he's got bag A. So basically what he has to do, he has to pick a ball from bag A at random. So it could be red or yellow. All right, and he takes the ball out, records what it was, and then he puts it in bag C. And then he takes a ball from bag B, takes it out, records the color and puts it in bag C. And then he takes a ball from bag C and then he records the color and then he's done. And then that's what we have to show in this probability tree. Okay, so let's start off with the first situation where he's picked a red and then he's picked a red again. Okay, so let's just follow that through. So he picks a red. Okay, so he picks a red from bag A. All right, he's recorded it's red and he puts it in bag C. I'll put it over there. All right, so that's basically picking a ball from this bag. It's before he picked it. Okay, before he picked it out, there was 4 out of 6. So the probability of picking a red is 4/6. Okay, and that's what that 2/3 represents. It represents 4 out of 6. 4 out of 6. And then he's picked from the second bag. Well, the second bag hasn't been affected by what happened. You took a ball from there and put it in bag C. Bag B still has exactly what it had before, so there's no change for this. It's going to be, the probability is going to be 4 out of 5. 5 balls altogether. 4 of them are red, so that's where that 4/5 comes from. But when he picks, once he's picked the ball, he puts it in this bag. So C is now has got basically 8 red balls and no yellow balls. So the probability of picking a ball from a red ball from C is going to be 1, and the probability of picking a yellow ball from C is going to be 0. So the probability of picking a red and then a red and then another red, so let's just have this for the next red. Okay, that's going to be a probability of 1. There will be no probability of picking any yellow from there. Okay, so let's take the situation that he's picked a red. So let's go now, let's track back now to the next thing. So say he's picked, let's just put everything back for now so we can start again. Now imagine that again he picks a red, but this time from the second bag he picks a yellow. So he picks a red, records it as red, puts it in bag C. In the second bag now we want to find the probability that he's going to pick a yellow. Well, there's only 1 yellow out of 5, so the probability there is going to be 1/5. So then that yellow he picks, he's going to put it in bag C. Now there is going to be something here for yellow, for this next pick. You can either pick, there will be a red, there will be a probability of picking reds, and there will also be probabilities of picking yellows. Okay, the probability of picking a red is now, there's now 7 reds out of 8. Right, there's these 6 plus this 1, 7, but now there's 8 balls altogether. So that's going to be, the probability of picking a red will be 7 out of 8. And the probability of picking a yellow is going to be 1 out of 8. Okay, so we've completed this tree, this part of the tree diagram. Now let's go back again to the beginning. So let's put everything back again and start again and look at another scenario. So here there was a red taken from here and there was a yellow taken from here. Okay, now we're back to the beginning again. Now supposing now, so we've got the scenarios where he picked a red first, and then a red, and then another red, and here a red, and then a yellow, and then either a red or yellow for the third pick. Now we've got to find the scenario of where he first picked a yellow. So if he picks a yellow first, well, there's 2 out of 6, which gives us 1/3. Okay, that's the probability for that. Okay, so he takes the yellow and he puts it in bag C. Okay, so he's put the yellow in bag C. And then he goes to bag B and he takes his pick. Now, for bag B, it really doesn't make a difference again. If he picks a yellow in the first bag, it doesn't affect now the second pick, because the picking from the second bag here is not affected by what he did in the first bag, because he doesn't change anything in the second bag. He just takes a pick. There's already 5 balls in here. 4 of them are red, so this is going to be 4/5. And of course, this will also be 1/5 afterwards. Now we're going to look at what happens after this. So he's picked now a red. We've said we've taken the scenario that he's picked a red next. So that red that he picked is now going to join this yellow in that bag. So now we're going to go to the next situation where he could pick a red or a yellow. So let's look what happens in this situation. A red and a yellow. So now in the bag C, if we follow this route, we've taken a yellow from the first bag, a red from the second bag. Now in the third bag, when he goes to pick from it, there's going to be 7 reds out of 8 and 1 yellow out of 8. So the probability will be 7/8 and 1/8 again. So we've looked at that probability. Let's put everything back now in its right place. Okay, so this belongs there and this belongs there. That's right, 4, 2, 5, 1, and 6. Now let's start from the situation now where he's picked a yellow and he's put it into here. And then let's take the situation that he picked a yellow again. All right, so it was the probability of picking a yellow is 1/5, but he's put it over there. Now we got to this situation where he's going to take the third pick from bag C. So he's picked a yellow from bag 1, so the probability of doing that was 1 out of 3, which is 2 out of 6. So that's put there. He's picked a yellow from bag B, which the probability of doing so was 1/5, because there was 1 yellow here. He's put that yellow there. Now bag C has got 2 yellows and 6 reds. So the probability of picking a red is going to be 6 out of 8. And the probability of picking yellow is going to be 2 out of 8. Okay, so that's now the whole tree completely done according to the game that we have here. So the only thing, maybe you can leave these as, you can write this as 3/4. You can write this as 1/4. If you want to put it in simplest form in the end, that's fine. So I can just get rid of this. That's 2/3, 1/3. That's 1/4. And that's 3/4. Everything else is in simplest form. And we have our completed probability tree. Okay, so there's the answer for part A. Now we're going to go on to part B. Okay, now for part B, they've told us to show that the probability that Mike records a yellow ball exactly twice is 1/10. So find the probability that he records a yellow ball exactly twice is 1/10. Okay, so let's look at all the outcomes. I'm going to look at the outcomes. I'm going to list the outcomes in this column here. So I have here red, red, red. That's 3 reds. So we'll clearly write the outcomes here so we can use them for later parts of the question. Red, yellow, red. So that's the second outcome here. Red, yellow, red. Then we have red, yellow, yellow. So red, yellow, yellow. Then we have yellow, red, red. Yellow, red, red. Then we have yellow, red, yellow. And then we have yellow, yellow, red. And then we have all 3 yellows. Okay, so we want to find the probability that he picks a yellow ball exactly twice. So if we look at that, that's a probability of red, yellow, yellow plus the probability of, there's this one, probability of yellow, red, yellow, yellow, red, yellow, plus the probability of, I'm going to have yellow, yellow, red. Those are the three of them. If I just try and highlight them to make it clear, the ones with 2 Y's. There's 1, 2, 3. Exactly 2 Y's. Okay, this has more than 2 Y's. You want exactly 2 Y's. So it's those 3, yeah. So it's the probability of yellow, yellow, red. So you're going to have the probability of yellow, yellow, and red. Okay, so now that's going to be, if we just take these probabilities, we got red, yellow, yellow. So it's this one here. So it's going to be 2/3 times 1/5 times 1/8. So 2/3 times 1/5 times 1/8 plus yellow, red, yellow, yellow, red, yellow. So 1/3 times 4/5 times 1/8. 1/3 times 4/5 times 1/8 times 1/8 plus, and then we're going to have yellow, yellow, red, which is 1/3 times 4/5 yellow, yellow, no, 1/3 yellow, yellow, red. 1/3 times 1/5 times 3/4. Okay, let's see if that gives us 1/10. So you're going to have, let's see what cancels out here. That cancels with that. So you have 1 over, that's 15 times 460, plus, that cancels with that, gives you a 2 there, a 1 here, so that's going to be 1 over 15 times 230, plus 3 cancels with the 3, that gives you 1 over 20. Okay, so that gives us 1 over 60 plus times 2, 2 over 60 plus, that's going to be times, to make this into 60, sorry, times 3 over 60, right? 3 over 60. 120 is 3 over 60. So that gives you 1 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 6 over 60. And we know that 6 over 60 is 1 over 10. As required, we had to show that it's 110 when he has exactly 2 yellows picked. Okay, now for part C. It says, given that Mike records exactly 2 yellow balls, find the probability that the ball drawn from bag A is red. Okay, so now we've got to find the probability that he picks the ball from bag A as being red. Okay, given that he has picked exactly 2 yellows. So you can say, given he's already picked 2 yellows exactly. Okay, which is exactly what we found in part A. This is the answer to part A. So this is given, this is conditional probability. So if I say the probability of A given B in general, it's not talking about any of these, is going to be the probability of the intersection of A and B divided by the probability of just B. So you're going to have, take B as your sample set, and the intersection between them will be the numerator. So this is going to become the probability that he picked a red ball, intersection with 2 yellows, a red ball from bag A. So it has to be that he's picked exactly 2 yellow balls, but the first ball was red. So that's basically the same as saying probability of red and then 2 yellows, which we've already found here. Red and 2 yellows is that 1 over 60 part, this one. Okay, 2/3 times 1/6 times 1 over 8, that's 1 over 60. So we found that probability, and you got to divide that by the probability of 2 yellows exactly. Okay, which is what we've already found here, which is all of this, 1/10. This is like the 1/10. So we basically got everything we need up here. Okay, the probability of red and 2 yellows is 1 over 60, and the probability of exactly 2 yellows is 1/10. So the answer is right here. So we can just say the probability that we need is equal to, I'll just put the answer equals, this is equal to 1 over 60 divided by 1 over 10, which is like 1 over 60 times 10 over 1, which is like 1 over 6. And there we have it. There's the answer. Simple as that. All the hard work was done in this section here where we found the probability of red and 2 yellows. Okay, so there's red and 2 yellows here, divided by the probability of finding just exactly 2 yellows, which is all of that which we did earlier, and we got our answer. Okay, it's 1/6. Okay, 1 over 6, that's right, that's the answer there. 1 over 60 divided by 1 over 10. Yep, there's the answer. Okay, now for part D, it says Mike plays the game a large number of times, each time starting with the bags containing balls as described above, in the situation we just saw. The random variable x represents the number of yellow balls recorded in a single game. Find the probability distribution of x. Okay, so let's see. If we take this, I've got this probability tree from before. We've got to find the probability distribution of x. So x is the number of yellow balls picked, and we've got to find the probability that x equals a particular value. We've got to first think about what values x could possibly have. So you could, when you play this game, it is possible that you have no yellows picked. Okay, that's one possibility, that you don't have any yellows picked. Okay, let me just do this other thing first. Okay, you have the possibility that we have no yellows. Okay, we also have the probability that you pick one yellow, and there's a probability that you can pick two yellows, or there's a probability that you could pick all three yellows. There's no possibility of picking more than three yellows because you're only taking 3 picks, one from each bag, and those are all the possibilities here. You know, those are all the possibilities we could possibly have. So 1, 2, 3. So now, what is the probability of picking no yellows? Well, the only probability of doing that is when they're all three reds. So it's 2/5, 2/5 times 4/5. Okay, 2/3 times 4/5. 2/3 times 4/5, which is 8 over 15. Okay, so that's 8 over 15 over here. Okay, and what's the probability of picking just one yellow? One yellow. Okay, there's, well, let's just highlight them first. That's one yellow. That's one yellow. It's only those two. All this is 2 yellows, 2 yellows, 2 yellows, 3 yellows, no yellows. So it's the probability of picking 2 yellows. This is for one yellow. This is for no yellows. This is 8 over 15. This is 0. For one yellow, we're going to have 2/3 times 1/5 times 7/8. And you're also going to have 1/3 times 4/5 times 7/8. So 1/3 times 4/5 times 7/8. So this is going to give you, let's see what cancels first. 2 and the 8 cancel. Nothing else cancels. You're going to have 7 over, that's 60. And here you're going to have 4 cancels with the 8. Yeah, 4 cancels with the 8. That's going to be 7 over, that's 30. Yeah, 7 over 30. 15 times 2. Yep. So if we add them together, you have 7 over 60 plus 14 over 60, which gives us 21 over 60. Okay, 21 over 60. If you simplify that, 3 goes into it, 7 over 20. So that's 7 over 20 here. 21 over 60. And the probability of picking 2 yellows. Okay, let me just change the color of this. Just to make it different color. 2 yellows would be this one, and this one, and that one. And we already found that actually. The probability of picking 2 yellows, we already found that as being 1/10. Okay, if we remember rightly, we found the probability of picking 2 yellows, exactly 2 yellows. Okay, was these 3, 1/10, that's right. So yeah, we already did that, so we don't need to calculate that again. That's already done. And then the probability of picking all 3 yellows, well, it's just this one at the end here. So we know that that's all 3 yellows is going to be basically 1/3 times 1/5 times 1/4. That's going to be 1 over 60. So that's 160 at the end. 1 over 60 at the end. Okay. So now we have our probability distribution. Okay, we've got to, this is part D. Now part E, we got to find EX. Now EX is basically the estimated mean, and you find it by multiplying X times the probability of that. And so it's 0 times 8 over 15 plus 1 times 7 over 20 plus 2 times 1 over 10 plus 3 times 1 over 60. Okay, and that will give us an answer. Okay, so that's going to give you 0. That'll be 7 over 20 plus 2 over 10 plus 3 over 60. Okay, let me make some space from this. Get all this stuff out of the way. Okay, so now we have to just find the value of that. Simple as that. So we can say EX is equal to that 7 over 20. Make them all over 60. I could use a calculator to do this. But strangely enough, I can't be bothered. Times 3, that gives you 21. That's times 6, that gives you 12. And that's already okay. So that's going to be 21 plus 12, which is 33 plus 3. That's 36 out of 60. 15 plus 21. Yep. So 36 over 60. Looks like 12 goes into both of these. 36 divided by 12 is 3. 3 over 5. So the expected value of X is equal to 3/5. And there we have the answer to this question. And we have completed part E of question 4, which is the last part of question 4. And this question was all about probability and also discrete random variables. Other questions from this paper can be found in this playlist that should appear over here. Other questions about probability, you'll find them in this playlist, and questions about discrete random variables in this playlist. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking on this link. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.